John, do you want to take a?
Yes, I can do that. Leo,
Present.
Brian,
Present.
Ron,
Present.
we have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum, and I'll go ahead and open the meeting. We were going to have a lengthy prayer, but we've decided to wait on that because we have a big agenda tonight. Approval of the Westfield Building Corporation January 15th, 2025 meeting minutes. Did anybody have any comments or concerns or debate in regards to those minutes?
No. I move to approve the Westfield Building Corporation January 15th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion's carried. All right. We are going to talk about the Building Corporation Resolution number 202501, a resolution approving a form of lease agreement.
Do we
John?
have a copy of the resolution anywhere? Which resolution are we talking about here? Do we have a copy of the resolution anywhere?
It should be, sorry.
Give me one moment, I'll pull it up for you.
That's not it. That's not it.
There we go. Our first piece of business for 01, or 25, excuse me. All right, so we've read that into our agenda discussion.
If I may, if I could introduce myself and give you a brief explanation of the two resolutions.
Why don't you just do the for 01 first, and then we'll go to 02.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Zach Klutz, partner with the Taft Law Firm. Let me just say apologies for not being there in person. Unexpectedly had to be out of town for a family matter up in Fort Wayne, and my intent and plan was to be there this evening. I appreciate the accommodation. Before you is Resolution 2025-01. This is a resolution that authorizes the Building Corp to enter into a lease agreement with the City of Westfield. This will be for purposes of financing and constructing Fire Station number 84 and leasing a premise with the address 1315 East 191st Street, which is where the fire station will be constructed, and issuing bonds, which we'll talk about at the next resolution. But this resolution approves a lease between the city and this building corp in which you would lease the fire station to the city for the term of the bonds. The rental payments would be for a term for an amount not to exceed $1,288,000. The exact amount will be known once the bonds are sold and priced. The city intends to levy a property tax levy to pay the lease rentals. And when those lease rentals are received by the building corp would pay the bondholders the bond payments. The bond payments and lease rental payments will be structured to match each other. So I'll pause there, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Can you roll it a little bit up further? Thank you. And questions? Do you deem this lease to be commercially reasonable within the parameters of a normal lease under these circumstances? Mr. Attorney?
Is that
That's for you.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I do. This is a standard lease rental structure with commercially standard terms for a capital improvement project such as this and the financing that we're structuring.
Thank you. More questions?
No, I'm good on this one.
No questions here.
Okay. Somebody make a motion to approve?
I'll motion to, sorry.
Please.
Motion to approve Building Corporation Resolution Number 2025-01.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And
Thank
we'll-
you. I'll just add one concluding comment. This lease still needs to be approved by the city council and a public hearing conducted, which is scheduled for this evening's meeting at 7 p.m.
Yep, that's how we understood it.
Okay.
So we'll read in the second item on our agenda here. Building Corporation Resolution Number 202502, a resolution approving the issuance of bonds, acquisition of real property, and all transaction documents related thereto. All right, why don't you give us a little summary of this document since we're all here?
Sure. In addition to entering into a lease agreement, the building corp will actually be the issuer of the bonds. This resolution approves your borrowing or issuance of bonds in an amount not to exceed $12,500,000. The bonds will have a maturity of not to exceed 15 years and an interest rate not to exceed 6%. We do not intend to actually sell the bonds for another 45 days, so we won't know the exact interest rate, but suffice it to say, if we go to market and the interest rate is greater than 6%, we would not be authorized to continue with the bond sale, and we'd have to come back to discuss the project or to amend the resolution. So this resolution authorizes the issuance of bonds not to exceed $12,500,000, interest rate not to exceed 6%, and a maturity date not to exceed 15 years. These bond proceeds will then be used to construct the fire station project and then lease it to the city.
I have one. So what is Baird saying is our projected interest rate at this time? Obviously, it's below 6%. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't, if you're financial advisors, I haven't seen what the market did last week. I would say it would be likely in the high threes, mid fours, but I'll let Oscar talk.
That's very accurate.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
For the record, Oscar Gutierrez, Boundary Consulting, municipal advisor to the Redevelopment Commission and the City of Westfield.
Thank you.
And that range seems to be within reason, although it is the wild, wild west, and hope to be in the high threes rather than the mid fours.
Good. More questions from our board?
Yeah, I have a question for you. On the original timeline that was published for the original timeline that was published said we were going to be estimating closing the bonds around June 19th. Is that still good?
Zach?
Yes, we're on track. This assumes the city approves the lease this evening, and if it's executed, we would then publish a notice of execution, which creates a 30-day waiting period. But we are on track, assuming approvals, which is the last step in this process, assuming approvals are adopted this evening at council.
Okay, the last thing I've seen on the lease is a red-lined lease that had some changes to it. Have they been executed in the document to be presented tonight?
Correct. So what we presented originally contemplated two lease parcels, one which we would call an interim asset that you would take title to and lease to the city before the project was ready for use and occupancy, because the city would not be able to pay lease rentals unless they had an asset to actually use and pay rent on. What we've determined is that this project is slated to be completed prior to the first bond and lease payment, which means we don't need an interim asset. And therefore, we've removed the parcel 1 or the interim asset from the lease agreement, and that explanation will be provided this evening as well.
Okay, thank you.
For additional context, Commissioner, the construction of this building has began. The first payment for construction was made last month. We expect another payment to be made for the month of May, or for the month of April. And then for the month of May, we assume that that payment will be made at the closing of this bond. But construction has begun on this project, and it's why we had to remove, well, we didn't have to, but we didn't need an additional asset to lease because construction has begun, and we assume that it will be completed on time.
Now, who owns the land right now?
The city does. Part of the bond proceeds will be used to purchase the parcel from the city, and the city will use those proceeds to apply towards the project cost.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I guess the most important question is there going to be a bond closing dinner?
Attorneys usually pay for that. I will direct it to Zach
Yeah, well,
Klutz.
just-
I haven't been to one of those in a long
Because-
time. I think we should absolutely have one.
Well, you know, I'm in a different city now, but the other city always had those.
I will have a motion to approve Building Corporation Resolution number 2025-02.
Second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second for this approval. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. And we still have this one additional business. I suppose we could talk about dinner a little bit more during additional business, but we'll wait till we hear from bond counsel about that topic.
Yes.
Anything else?
John, anything else we need?
You got us here.
I do not have any other additional business at this time.
Caitlin? Nothing from me. Okay,
All right. Well, I'll move to
Thanks,
adjourn.
thanks, everyone.
so moved.
Got a second?
Second?
We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we gotta sign.